Most RPGs, whether good or bad, usually have a combat system. If they don't, they're often considered visual novels, walking simulators, horror games, etc., etc. Hello there, Internet. This is going to be a bit of an unusual upload in comparison to my normal routine of YTPs and game reviews, some of which have been very bad. In this top 5, we'll be looking at what I consider to be the best combat systems in RPGs. But before we get into the list, I'm gonna have to define some basic rules. The first rule is pretty obvious and standard: no games I haven't played. I obviously can't have an opinion on a system I haven't played. Second is fairly standard as well: no games from the same series. However, I will get a little bit technical later, as you'll see. This next thing is not much of a rule, but I think it's important to note that I'm not going to be discriminating between JRPGs and Western RPGs, though, as you will see, I'm kind of a weeb. Cringe, I know. But let's quit dilly-dallying and get onto the list.
Number 5.
One thing that is good to see in any RPG's combat system is novelty, something unique that separates it from a simple race to 0 HP. And this combat system, to me at least, brings novelty in spades. This is in part because Final Fantasy XII is a bit more of a single-player MMO rather than an average RPG, and the combat system reflects a lot of MMO combat systems of the time. The actual combat itself isn't that unique. It's mostly just standard MMO stuff. Skills, attacks, spells, items, etc. all act in real time when a bar fills. However, the biggest novelty of the game comes with the Gambit system. You know how a lot of the times AI-controlled party members are just really dumb? Well, with Final Fantasy XII, Square Enix just threw up their hands and said, "Let them make the AI for heck's sake, see how they like it," and let you decide their AI through the Gambit system. As my little jokey joke said, you, yes you, get to create the AI for your party members. On the left of the screen, you could set targets for an action such as ally below 20% HP, foe greater than or equal to 100,000, and my wife Kathy has left me and taken the kids, and my life is falling apart. Oh god, please come back to me, Kathy. And the actions, such as attack, potion, etc., etc. But this is kept from being boring, in part with the help of the license board. After each fight, you gain XP and LP. You can use LP on the license board to gain licenses, which give you the ability to use a skill, spell, weapon, or armor. There are also some which give buffs to your HP, potion use, and physical or magical damage.
Sketch did not add his opinions to the section when he recorded this because he is lazy and a big YouTuber, so I will make the content for him. I think this system is good because it provides a potentially infinite amount of customization with how you and your party members act, and discovering what's where on the license board was fun in my opinion. That combined with the MMO combat system makes this a very one-of-a-kind experience for a console pleb like Sketch.
And that, I think, warrants Final Fantasy XII's system deserving a spot on the list.
Number 4.
A lot of the system is familiar to veteran JRPG players. However, there are new additions to it that will make it a lot more fresh and interesting. In battle, you have a persona equipped at all times. This persona affects the skills, stats, and most importantly, elemental affinities of your character. And in Jungian psychology, it affects how you act and present yourself. So, how does Makoto Yuki act when he equips Succubus or Mara? This question has kept me up at night for the past month. The elemental affinities are important when attacking. If you hit an enemy's elemental weakness or get a critical hit, this will knock down the enemy and give you an extra turn. The extra turns can stack, by the way, so you could use your extra turn to knock down another enemy, and knock another down, and on 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 and on. But the real fun begins when you've knocked down all the enemies down. What? We're not there yet. Go! Go! Anyways, when all enemies are knocked down, you can perform an all-out attack, which decimates enemies. Okay, Junpei, now you can do it. But what makes this system great is how it harmonizes with the rest of the game. Throughout the game, you get to hang out with a lot of people. When you do, it increases one of your social links, depending on who you're hanging out with. This aligns with a group of persona. The rank of your social link will affect how much XP a persona gains through fusion. Oh, by the way, there's fusion in this game. Pretty cool, eh? However, this system also applies to enemies, which can put you in some sticky situations if you aren't careful. And that is why the one more system from Persona 3 deserves a spot on this list. I'm sure at least some of you were expecting this one. The, Paper Mario's combat system doesn't have a name. I'll just call it the Paper Badge system, because Paper Mario and badges. Anyways, the Paper Badge system is the closest thing to a series staple that Paper Mario has. It's been the combat system in the two Paper Mario games people universally like, those two being the original on N64 and Thousand Year Door. The rest of them are up for debate, except for Super Paper Mario. In combat, you can have one partner in battle at once. You can switch them using Mario or the partner's action. Each partner has a basic attack, and each have unique skills, such as this game's equivalent of Scan, attack a whole line of grounded enemies, and Vor.
It tastes like a Dyra! Perhaps just one more?
The main thing that makes the Paper Badge system so good, though, is how Mario gets those skills. Instead of gaining them as he levels, he gains them by equipping badges that are gained by various means. He does this using a pool of badge points that can be used to equip badges. These badges have a variety of skills and BP prices. Some give passive abilities, such as Happy Heart, which has a 1 in 3 chance of restoring health. Some are practically settings, such as the battle effects badges, which just change the battle sound effects. And some let you turn into Waluigi! This freedom that Nintendo gives with their skills gives a surprising amount of depth for the same company that published Color Splash. I actually kinda like Color Splash, but come on, I had to take a cheap shot at it. And that is why I think Paper Mario Thousand Year Door deserves to be on this list.
Number 2.
I know, some may consider this cheating because of 2 entries ago being in the SMT CU, but I think SMT and Persona are different enough to be on the list, and I don't think I could be okay with removing either system from this list. Anyways, the press turn system is a recurring system within the Shin Megami Tensei series. Similar to the One More system, it allows added turns when weaknesses are exploited. However, instead of the attacker gaining another turn immediately after attacking, their turn gets halved, which allows them to act again after the rest of the party has acted. Meaning that if you play your cards right, you could double your turns. However, unlike the One More system, the press turn system can be much harsher, leading to much more exciting and tense situations. In SMT and Persona, the monsters and player have the element affinities of weak, strong, reflect, and drain. But in the One More system, hitting an enemy with an ice attack that they drain or are numb to doesn't affect anything other than wasting a turn. But in the press turn system, however, oh boy, that system completely removes most or all of your press turns, wasting several more turns. The same thing happens if you miss as well, which makes choices much more difficult. This system is great, and makes murdering your friends that much better. Before our number 1, though, let's go through some of the honorable mentions. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I haven't played it enough to put it on the list. I really don't want to rehash Pokemon's combat system. it just didn't quite make the cut. Consider this the number 6 entry for the list. I really like this game, but I can't bring myself to pick this game up again. It's really good, but everyone's talked about it. Now that we have the honorable mentions out of the way, let us begin with our number 1 entry.
Number 1.
Now, I'm sure this could be a contentious pick. Some are probably glad that I played The World Ends With You and agree with them about the combat system, but some might be annoyed with the DS's combat system and dislike my differing opinions. At least, I'm sure they would if anybody who watched my videos. Anyways, if you disagree with me on this, then I'm sorry to inform you that you're wrong! And I will be using several hectopascals of force to remove you yoctograms from my channel! Ahem. I meant to say that I kindly recommend changing your mind and seeing things from my perspective, or at very least not leaving any hate comments. Before I talk about the combat of this game, I'd like to preface it with this. I am playing the DS version of the game. If that wasn't made clear by the entry card, I will make it clear. I am using the DS version of the game. By the way, I'll call the combat system the dual dimension system. Why? I will not elaborate further. The dual dimensions combat system is kinda chaotic, even for someone like me who's been playing video games, especially DS games, for all my life. I even came out of the womb holding a DS Lite, and when the doctor shook me awake, he said, "Wow, I can't believe he didn't drop it." But anyways, this system can be tough, even for me at times, largely because you're practically playing 2 games at once, as both systems could stand on their own as a fun combat system. Less so for the top screen, but still. On the bottom screen, you play as Neku, who attacks with pins that are gained after battle, story progression, etc., etc., which require holding, slashing, and dragging of the stylus. But there's also one that requires you to scream into the mic, but my DS's mic is broke, so I can't use that one. And on the top screen, you play as one of the partners who join you in survival throughout the Reaper's game. They all control with the D-pad, or the buttons if you're left-handed. Fortunately, they are all different and have different combat styles and methods of gaining fusion points for super attack, such as matching the numbers, matching colors together, I swear those are more different than they sound, or just making educated guesses. But these systems don't exist in isolation. They must work in harmony. There's the aforementioned fusion attack. If you gain enough fusion points, you can unleash a fusion attack, which deals big damage to all enemies. But there is also the light puck. The light puck makes damage dealt by whoever holds it multiplied by a certain amount. The light puck spoons can be increased by performing a combo and passing it to the other ally. This adds a sort of rhythm to combat, as you must coordinate with your partner to maximize efficiency. Another thing that makes this system so great is how it works well with the story of The World Ends With You, because the only way to learn and feel familiar with each partner is to play them. It creates a strong impression of how the game will work when Shiki fights her first fight with you, amplifies the feeling of confusion and anger when Joshua forces his way into your party. It adds to the feeling of confusion and delight when Beat joins. And most of all, it makes you feel like a god, a deity when you beat pretty much any boss. And that is all of why I feel the best RPG combat system belongs to The World Ends With You. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. I hope you liked it. Although I assume you did, considering you watched a almost 15-minute video. Here are some more videos that you can watch of mine. I hope you have a good day.